Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the 2023 Toyota GR Supra, finished off in white. We'll go over the MSRP once we go over all of the specs and features for this sports car. So we'll start off with what powers this. There are two different engines available. So this model here has the 3-liter twin-scroll turbo inline 6-cylinder paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 382 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque. That power sent to the rear wheels, propelling this 3,400-pound sports car from 0 to 60 in just under 4 seconds with a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity just over 13 gallons, so you'll expect to see around 23 miles per gallon in the city, 31 out on the highway. Pretty fuel efficient, especially for the power figures for this sports car. So let's move on to the exterior styling, where I think it has a really good modern twist to the original Supra. Of course, it looks much different. There's a lot of cutouts in the lower bumper there to provide a lot of cooling to this engine. There's also a forward-facing sensor for the adaptive cruise. This gets LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals with a nice styling. I like how the headlight and high beams have that 6-bubble design to them in a sense. Now, there are some fake air vents located throughout the front end of the Supra, which I know is a big dislike. There's one just underneath the headlight housing on both sides, as well as the trim pieces on the back section of the hood. It would be cool to see those functional. I'm sure you could do that aftermarket. And then there's some gloss black in the lower section of the bumper that just ties it in nicely, especially with these outer corners. And there's also parking sensors located throughout. So with a low sports car like this, you have a lot of sensors and that tech, so that way, of course, you don't run into any items. Now, for the 2023, this gets a new design for the wheels. They're 19x9 up front and 19x10 in the rear, and this even has the Brembo brakes with 4 pistons in all 4 corners. I love the gray finish that these wheels have. It looks really cool against this white. Now, in the lower side skirt, there's more of that gloss black tying in with the front bumper. There's also black on the side mirrors. They have the integrated turn signal. The A-pillar is black too, along with all the window trim. So I love that contrast. It flows nicely with the windshield, of course, and then you have the white roof coming around in almost that C-shaped design. Gives it a really cool look. And then for the rest of the side, really cool lines and contours behind the door handle there. Another fake trim piece there, however, but it has a nice flowing design all the way to the massive fender arches. This car is extremely wide for those rear fenders. You can see that bubble there and just how much they stick out. That line goes all the way down to about the middle section of the door. And then for the rear, the trunk has almost a built-in spoiler with all of these lines, flows very nicely. This has a backup camera with all the parking sensors. There's even more of that black trim in the lower diffuser, as well as some fins on each side, the dual exhaust, even the light right in the middle. And so now as we work our way to the trunk space now, there's no button up underneath the back. So you can't just walk up to the vehicle, push the button to release the trunk. I think that is one disadvantage to the back of this. So I do have to use the button on the key fob or the one on the interior, which I'll show here soon. But for a 2-seater vehicle, there's actually a lot of space. You can see all the way to the infotainment system there, so you do have an open area. There's a speaker on both sides. If you don't get the upgraded speaker package, I believe this is just flat to the back seats. So with that there, it gives you a little bit of a step, but you still have plenty of room to daily drive this and put in all of the items that you need. It's a very lightweight trunk lid as well, so that is easy to close. Now, as we work our way to the interior, of course, you can lock and unlock it with the door handle if you want to. There's leather on the armrest here. This has lock and unlock brush trim on that release handle. The side mirrors are also power folding, and then the release for the trunk is down below, like I mentioned earlier. Now, this model has the JBL audio sound system. You'll see some speakers in the door and a little bit of storage in the lower section. Now, Toyota Supra is down on the door sill, and this has the black leather seats with more of that brush trim right in the middle. They are automatic with the memory seating adjustments. Those are located down by those controls. And at 5'10", working my way into this, it's not all that awkward. I will say that this portion here for the roofline is a little bit lower than other sports cars. So when you get in, you do kind of have to dunk your head or dip your head a little bit to clear that. It's not the worst thing in the world, but that's just something that I have noticed over time. And with the steering wheel completely covered in solid black leather, cruise and adaptive cruise control settings, volume mode for the radio, even Bluetooth controls. This has the brushed aluminum paddle shifters as well. Let's fire this up. That brushed aluminum button is on this right side, and we can bring this to life We have a digital gauge cluster. You'll see fuel level on that left side, engine temperature on the right. Tach is front and center, along with your miles per hour. And you can see on that right side, you can go through some more trip information. You have your distance till empty, average MPG, a few icons that you can scroll through. The outside temperature and the time are just above that. And then over on the left side, you'll see all the headlight and parking light adjustments. There's also one air vent. This does have the head-up display. It's currently showing miles per hour and the speed limit sign. You can also go through all of your audio just by pushing on mode. You can go to your FM, your music collection, different presets, even the satellite radio. So it's nice that you can see that front and center if you're listening to music a lot. And then you can also change the gauge cluster going into sport mode. You will see that appear just underneath the 7 for the tach, and the exhaust will also get louder. Maybe you can hear some of those pops. I did more exhaust revs in the full review, but that's a nice change to see. And then for the middle, this has an 8.8-inch touchscreen system. You can go through the navigation, pull that up in full screen. You have media and radio. You can go into your phone, even the weather. Under My Vehicle, you can even go to driver profiles. You have vehicle status that you can monitor just by clicking on that. You can look at your TPMS. If I go back now all the way here and we scroll down, you can even go to the sport displays. So by pushing on that, you can see live readouts for your horsepower and your torque, which is pretty cool to monitor. And then you'll notice notifications as well. Not a whole lot of info to go through, but it gives you everything that you need. Now there's 2 air vents underneath that, and I like that the trim accent continues its way over to the passenger side just to tie them in nicely. There's a physical button for power and volume for the radio, all the presets and tuning, and this even has a dual zone system. So there's the temperature controls, fan speed right in the middle. This even gets heated seats, and then you have some other controls just underneath that. Now at the bottom, this does have a wireless charging pad along with a 12 volt and a USB, and then all of the carbon fiber that surrounds all of these controls. Now on this right side, these are for that infotainment system. So if you want to use this, you can. Instead of using it as a touchscreen system, you can use this rotary dial and go through all of that, which is nice to have. Now for the shifter, by putting this into reverse, you'll see the backup camera up here along with the guidelines. If I put this into drive and then put it into the manual setting, now you can shift using those paddle shifters, and then park is located on the top. Now behind that, there's the electronic parking brake along with the engine start stop feature, sport mode like I just showed, and then some of the parking sensors and safety systems that you can turn on and off. Now right in the middle, there are 2 cup holders. There's no center storage, however, so you just have those. A little bit of storage just behind that, which is nice to see. And then like I mentioned earlier, you can see all the way into the back. So if you have to grab some items, you have easy access to be able to get to the back. And as far as visibility goes, while that is a pretty bulky pillar, it's really not all that hard to see around. And then the glove box has all the information that you can fit in there. A little bit of a blind spot here, but I like that small window, and with your side mirror, you can easily see out. There's also some call buttons, and then the dome lights are up in the top. But now let's go ahead, get the all-new Supra out on the road. For about 60 grand, I feel like with some of the other competition or the competitors, you're truly getting a phenomenal sports car. Now I know a lot of people weren't really too happy, I guess, the fact that it's part BMW and it didn't use the 2JZ from the original Supra. But there's no denying that for the modern world, the modern era that we live in today, and what is available, this is what we get for the Supra for 2023, and I really don't have any complaints with it. My brother might. Check out that dislike video, again, if you wanted some ownership experience. But honestly, for what you're getting, it's a phenomenal car. Handles so well, it's so comfortable, it's so quiet. I've been in sport mode the entire time, so if we dial it down, it's just like normal. It's normal. It's just like driving a normal vehicle. It can be a daily driver, and then when you're ready, you can push a few buttons, and now you are ready to take this out to the track, mountain roads, wherever it may be. It is a true daily driving car that offers you the best of pretty much everything. And now with the 2023 year model being able to get that 6-speed manual, I know that was something that a lot of people did not like, myself included. If this had a 6-speed manual, it would definitely would have been more fun, I think, for my brother to own. So we might get a manual at some point in the future. But now that we have the 6-speed manual option, I mean, it's probably the best bang for the buck sports car in terms of performance and handling and just everything that it has to offer. And we'll do one last acceleration for today. Definitely a fun car to drive. Shifts are incredibly quick too. I love how responsive they are going through this 8-speed. But I think that's going to wrap it up for the 2023 Toyota GR Supra. Once again, a huge shout out to Randy Marion Chevrolet for providing the sports car for me today. Definitely check out their website. That link is down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.